Okay, we're live. Yes, we're live. Tell us your name.
Shadra.
And you have 2 children.
I have 2 kids.
And
13.
And how are they health-wise?
They are the picture of good health. Never been on, my youngest has never been on antibiotics. Neither one has ever had an ear infection. My oldest daughter was on antibiotics once. She had an eardrum that ruptured and it was necessary, but we only go to the pediatrician for well visits.
Why do you go for well visits when they're well?
Basically, to check their growth, just to fill out my baby book. And at this point, they got chickenpox actually earlier this year, and we just went about a month ago for their yearly checkup, and the doctor didn't believe me. She said it couldn't have been chickenpox. And I said, well, you know
What was it
this.
like having chickenpox?
It was awful.
Was it awful?
Yes.
For 1 week.
Because it was itchy or what?
Oh yeah. It was itchy and I had the chills.
They don't want to be on camera, viewers. Itchy, chills. Okay, but you're not paralysed from the neck down like someone who had the chickenpox vaccine was.
Exactly.
So you're good. How are you feeling now?
Awesome.
You feel awesome now? You feel awesome?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you got through it.
And
Good.
my 35-year immunity, natural immunity, held up because I was in their face the whole time.
Okay, and I can tell you, viewers, they're very healthy, beautiful children sitting behind me right now. Right, let's talk about you as a speech therapist.
Yes.
What are you seeing?
I'm seeing I've basically been in the field 20 years professionally and then graduate school. I used to see on my caseload a variety of kids that had different articulation errors, lisping, minor things, sprinkled with some autism, ADHD, and basically all of my schedule is autism, ADHD, more severe disabilities. It's just been on an upward trajectory for the last 2 decades.
That's really sad.
They changed the diagnostic criteria in 2013. The DSM-5 came out, and I remember them saying, okay, now we're doing away with Asperger's, we're doing away with PDD, NOS, all these things that formerly came under the umbrella. And I thought that was strange. And I went home and told my husband, something fishy is going on. I don't know what it is, but then I got to thinking about it, and I thought they have to justify the increase in numbers. So they start changing the diagnostic criteria, and that justifies the increase. Same thing with CDC last year in November of 22, they rolled out new milestones. They said speech and language milestones are now, it used to be they should have 50 words by 24 months, and now it's 50 words by 30 months. None of my coworkers really batted an eye, and
Dumbing down of society. What advice do you give to the young pregnant mum today?
well, I've been handing out the new book that's kind of written for children. I'm unvaccinated and I'm okay. I've actually given that to 2 women that I knew that were pregnant. The advice I have for them is, if you know anyone with a child with a developmental disability, ask them about their story. Ask them what their life is like, because these kids are in therapy every day of their life practically. OT, PT, speech, ABA, behavior therapy. When you're pregnant, if you do, I know so many women that do everything right, they eat organic, and then they take all the vaccines for their kids. And I just want them to be in my pocket for a day, see the families that I work with, many of whom don't even realize that's where their kids' injuries came from.
Right, and teaching people like your children. Do you guys know that, like, one day when you both have babies, are you going to give them vaccines? Oh no! See, that's what we've got to do. Teach the next, break the generational curse
Absolutely.
of sickness. You guys ready for Christmas? You look very Christmassy.
Yes, we are.
Very, very Christmassy. Okay. Well, anything else you want to tell the people?
Do your research. I know that's cliche at this point, but do good research. Talk to people who disability, and everyone has to be an investigator, because you can't do a Google search and find what you need to find. Talking to people, talking to families is what kind of, I started to collect all their stories. At the time when I had my oldest daughter, I didn't know one person that had a child that was unvaccinated.
No.
But I just had all the family stories in my head. So similar. My child was developing normally, and then they just regressed. They don't make eye contact anymore. They don't connect.
That's right.
You just start to see patterns. And the other odd thing was, and still is when I do like patient intakes for a new evaluation, I always ask about family history, and almost never is there any family history. They really try to push the genetic theory. Do you have anyone with developmental disability, speech and language disorder, autism? Nope. Siblings. That's the only family relation. They'll say, oh yeah, his brother has autism. So.
Anything else as a speech therapist that you can warn the people about?
I would say.
I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Totally unrelated to a lot of what we're talking about, but I think it's
Yeah.
really fascinating, this. There's a new, in my mind, faddy thing where newborn babies are being told that they've got lip tie, tongue tie, lip tie, tongue tie. And I spoke to some midwives, and they were just saying it is a new faddy thing. A lot of money's being made out of the people telling their children, they have to have this done. And do you have a take on that? Because I feel like, well, either there is a problem or we're messing with God's design. What's the deal?
Well, as far as tongue tie, most of that self-corrects. It's a fairly non-invasive procedure. They usually go in and clip them. They discover that pretty early on because they'll have feeding issues, whether breastfed or bottle fed.
But all babies have feeding issues.
Yeah.
So, and this is why I think they're cashing in on it. I think they're going in and telling these young mums.
Yeah.
Because why all of a sudden has 99.9% of the babies being born today got a lip tie and a tongue tie?
Right. Yeah.
Whereas in my day, no one ever even heard of that.
No. 100%. Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with the shingles, and you probably know in the UK they actually don't mass vaccinate for chickenpox. It's just vulnerable populations, because then all the grown-ups are re-exposed to that virus, and it keeps shingles at bay. So now we have an uptake in shingles.
Oh, yes. Worldwide uptake in shingles, I might add. Well, thank you. I want to just ask your children, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Ooh.
You can be
So
anything
many
like.
options. A singer.
Okay, so the youngest one is saying a singer. She looks like a singer.
I've been fascinated with the idea of being an engineer.
Engineer, for the old one. Good. Well, good. We need engineers and we need singers. I like that. Very nice to meet you both. You cannot sign the bus. You're too healthy. Thank you for your wisdom.
Thank you for what you do. It's invaluable.
What did
work.
you think when you saw the signatures? I mean, it's really covering the bus now, right?
It's overwhelming. I feel like there's so many families I work with that I've just had parents crying in my office, and then I just see all these names and I can 100% relate to it, and it's just so gut-wrenching. It's really sad. It becomes emotionally weary, and I feel like I'm kind of like scooping water out of a leaky boat.
Mm-hmm.
They just, now it's 1 in 36. And I hope that other medical professionals will start to wake up, because it's very strange. Nobody wants to talk about it.
No.
I just want to pull people off to the side and say, hey, you've been doing this for a while, right? Remember we used to see a sprinkle of kids with autism. Now it's everybody. So it feels like. But nobody wants to talk. And then you're labeled an anti-vaxxer.
True story. Thank you.